Who is that? Yoni Gross asked that? That's great.
Aaron, I'm sorry. I was driving when I got your text. Whatever. I'll try and call you after if I can.
Okay, no problem.
Okay, so what are we up to? Yeah, Tanya Reb Shimon ben Elazar Omer. It's around 10 lines down. You got it? Chavav Amud Aleph. Tanya Reb Shimon ben Elazar Omer. Kishem shetruma chazaka lekahuna. Just the same way, truma is a chazaka for kahuna. So kach Maaser Rishon chazaka lekahuna. So too, Maaser Rishon is a chazaka for kahuna. Right? But somebody, if they split it up in Beis Din, that's not a chazaka. I mean, again, we're going through the whole sugya of what could be proven as a kohen, what can be not proven as a kohen, right? So here he's saying that Maaser Rishon, if you give Maaser Rishon to a kohen, again, let's go through. Maaser Rishon normally is given to a Levi, right? You give Truma to the kohen, then Maaser Rishon to the Levi. So what's a pshat? So he says, then, well, we'll get back to the next line. We'll get back to that in a couple of lines. So I'm going to ask, Maaser Rishon to Levi, who Maaser Rishon goes to the Levi. What does that have to do with a kohen? So I'm going to answer is Beis ben Azariah, and we had this in Yevamos. The Tanya Truma lekohen, Truma goes to the kohen, Maaser Rishon leLevi, Maaser Rishon's the Levi. That's the way we pass, and that's the normal way. Divrei Rebbe Kiva. Beis ben Azariah, Maaser Rishon af lekohen. Beis ben Azariah says Maaser Rishon is even to the kohen. All right, so therefore, if you see them giving Maaser Rishon to a fellow and they say, oh, he's a kohen, so then you can prove it based on that. So when I ask, right? When did Rebbe Eliezer say his din even to a kohen? To a kohen and Leila Levi, mi Amar? Did he say that you give it to a kohen and not to a Levi? Meaning, how do you know? So we were thinking, okay, so he says Maaser Rishon could be given to a kohen. Good, but it's not exclusive to a kohen, right? It could be given to a Levi or to a kohen. So if that's the case, how do you prove a guy's a kohen? Right? So the Gemara says, in Basar the Kansino Ezra, we're talking about after Ezra gave a knas. We had this, what was it, yesterday's daf? 2 days ago's daf, that when Klal Yisrael went into Golus for Golus Bavel, and they came back up with Ezra to Eretz Yisrael. So Ezra got upset because a lot of the Leviim didn't come up. And he said, no more Maaser Rishon to the Leviim. Who would get it? The Kohanim get it. So therefore, we're talking about after that, when, yes, Maaser Rishon, according to Rebbe Elazar ben Azariah, went to the Kohanim. And therefore, if you give the Maaser Rishon to a Kohen, then that's a proof.
And according to Rabbi Kiva, Ezra didn't make the Gzeira?
Yeah, we had this in
I thought this was L'Kulihan, though.
What?
This Gzeira was according to everyone, no?
What do you mean?
Rabbi Kiva also agreed that Ezra made the Gzeira against the Levian.
Did he? Well, I remember in Yevamos we weren't sure about it. No? I don't remember. I thought we weren't sure if there was a Machlokes in the Metzias. Right? I thought that's what I understood it. It's a Machlokes. I understand this is not the first Machlokes, Gershon, of what went on in history. No?
No, yeah. I thought everyone agreed over there. I'm going to take Yevamos out, check. But yeah.
All right, good. Okay, anyway, so then Gemara says, B'dilma ikru v'yavule. Maybe the person happened to have given it to him to a Levi. Meaning, how do you know for sure? Good. So they made a takana. They made a takana that you shouldn't give it to a Levi. You should give it only to a kohen. Right? That was the takana that Ezra made. Good, but maybe a guy made a mistake and he gave it to a Levi. So how do you know for a proof? Again, we're trying to prove with 100% certainty that a guy is a kohen. So if there's any possibility that the guy is not a kohen, then we can't prove it. Right? Okay, so Rav Chisda, Hacham asking, here's what we're talking about. We're going to Muchsaklon Ba'avua Dahai to Kohen. We have a chazaka that this guy's father is a kohen. For Nofikale Kala, the Ben Grusha Ben Chalutzu, but there was a rumor, a call went out that he's a Ben Grusha Ben Chalutzu. For Cholkaleli Didei Maaser Beis Agronis, but they gave him Maaser Rishon in the Beis Agronis, what we call the Beis Agronis, the silos, right? So meaning, so what's the options? Again, the father's a kohen, but there's a rumor that he's a Ben Grusha Ben Chalutzu, which makes him puzzle. Yeah. So Levi, the lav Levi. So Levi meaning, which could he be a Levi? The lav Levi who, right? We know he's not a Levi because his father was a kohen. So meaning the whole shiloh here wasn't whether he's a kohen or not, right? We said he's a kohen. The question was he puzzle. So Michael and Maimer, what are you going to say? Ben Grusha Ben Chalutzu. So maybe he's a Ben Grusha Ben Chalutzu. It makes him a puzzle kohen. So you don't have to say it according to the shita that says Maaser Rishon is also to Zorim. Right now, Zorim here normally means a Yisrael, but here it means somebody who is not a kohen or a Levi, because because we're talking about that you could potentially give it to them. So anyways, the loy havli yavle, because if they wouldn't have given it to him, if he wasn't right for it, then he wouldn't give it to him. Ella afilu mandam Maaser Rishon mutar l'zarim, even according to the mandama that says Maaser Rishon is mutar to zarim. Hani mili lemispaklu. That's only to give a Yisrael, meaning a Levi can invite a Yisrael over for supper or a barbecue and give him Maaser Rishon, but doesn't mean habataras chaluka loyav. We're never going to give it out to him. So therefore, it has to be that we're going to use in this situation. Again, it's a very unique situation where the guy's a kohen, the father's a kohen. There's a rumor about Ben Grusha Ben Chalutza, and then we're going to say, since we see them giving out Maaser Rishon to him, so therefore we're going to say it must be he's a kosher kohen. Okay, so then the Gemara says, so that last line that was a little unclear, says, if Beis Din gives out truma, that's not considered a chazaka. So what it says, or asks, even Beis Din loy havi chazaka, if Beis Din giving a guy out food is not a chazaka, then what is a chazaka? Meaning, you're saying that Beis Din giving a kohen truma is not a chazaka? How could that be?
Maybe he's the eved of a kohen.
What do you mean he's the eved of a kohen?
He's the eved of a kohen. An eved of a kohen can eat truma.
Oh, he's the eved of a kohen. He's the eved of a kohen. What did we say yesterday about that? Did we say what? Would they give it to him straight or at the Geirin, or would they? Or
the kohen is not going to pay $10,000 tuition for an eved.
That's true. We had that, right? We had that yesterday at the top of today's.
Yeah.
Then
Rabbi Gamliel, excuse me, Rabbi Gamliel sent Tevi to Harvard. He did pay, yeah.
Okay. No, Tevi learned on the job. Excuse me. He was living by Rabbi Gamliel, so he knew everything.
He didn't need education.
He didn't need it. That's right. He had the best education.
I hear. I don't know. I thought maybe we don't give out at the Geirin to the Avodim. We only let them eat it. Because I'm not sure. So anyway, so the Gemara is saying, but how could it not be a chazaka? Someone of Sheshas chaylik truma b'nichsei aviv, meaning if they're having a Yerusha, the father died, and now they're splitting up everything. So if Beis Din gives one of them truma, that's not a chazaka. Meaning we're not talking about where Beis Din's giving out the food. Like you got all the food giveaways nowadays, right? But you have one exclusive of Kehanim. We're not talking about that type of chalukah. We're talking about where they're splitting up the Yerusha, right? So we want to try and bring a proof. Well, Beis Din gave the guy truma, so saying that's not a proof because that's just because of Yerusha. That has nothing to do with whether they're really saying it's a kite. So Gemara says pshita, it's pashut, right? A cholol, somebody who's a cholol, he yarshins his father. Why shouldn't he get a Yerusha? Right? Maybe he can take the truma and give it to his friend or sell it to his friend, but he's still entitled to the truma. He's not allowed to eat it because he's a cholol, right? So Gemara answers, the same with the hanach la'achila, that these are for achila. So hi nami la'achila. So this is also for achila. Kamashulan hanach la'achila, because the brothers are taking it for eating, and hi lezvune, and this brother could be taking it for selling, like we said. So therefore, it's no proof from here that the Beis Din gave him truma doesn't mean that he's taka gonna eat it, but maybe he's just gonna have it to sell, right? So meaning again, I don't clearly understand the Havamina, but the Gemara seems to be thinking you would have thought, well, they gave, let's say there's 3 brothers, so they gave to 2 of the brothers, and those 2 brothers are taking it to eat. So the 3rd brother, who might be a chalal, is also taking it to eat, and therefore it must be that he's a legitimate kohen. Kamash Malon, that he's not. He could be taking it to sell, and therefore there's no proof whatsoever that he's a kohen. So bottom line is when the Beis Din splits up a Yerusha for Kohanim, he's not a kohen. We can't prove it that he's a kohen,
Yeah.
right?
It might be more than about him taking it. If it wasn't to eat, would Beis Din be allowed to give it to him? I mean, there's Avon Achasim. Give him Avon Achasim in place. Give the truma to the brothers.
I don't know. Maybe his buddies told him get the truma and sell it to us.
That doesn't matter to Beis Din.
I don't know how it would work with the Yerusha. You saying it's a Lifnei Iver issue?
I don't know. Maybe I would have thought so. That's part of the Havamina. Beis Din shouldn't be allowed to do it.
Right. I hear. I don't know. I'm not sure. I see clearly from this Gemara that they could. Clear on this Gemara they could.
No, that's the maskana.
Yeah.
I would have thought that if Beis Din did it, it must be that they're saying he's allowed to eat it. That's chazaka. Teretz says no. Beis Din is allowed to give it to him just to sell.
Right. I hear. Maybe. Okay, so you're saying that's the chiddush, but that's not really the way the Gemara doesn't really fit into the lashon of the Gemara. Yeah. Okay. Fine. Let's see weiter. So we said there were 3 shitas. There were 3 shitas in the Gemara over do we believe a kohen on an eid echad, meaning do we believe an eid echad that this guy is a kohen or not? So we had 3 Machlokes, which seems to be 2 of them seem to be the same thing. So R Shimon Gamliel, Hainu R Eliezer, R Shimon Gamliel and R Eliezer saying the same thing. So the Gemara asks, that if somebody makes a ha'ara, right? Error means he makes a complaint that the guy's not a kohen. If one makes a is the difference. The Rebbe Eliezer holds that if one person, an eid echad, says, "Oh, I think this guy's not a kohen," right? But it's still that's enough to be considered a doubt on the yichus of the kohen. You need to have the 2 people. You need 2 eidim to complain and say this guy's not a kohen. But that can't be, because Amar Rabbi Yochanan Divrei Hakol Ein Irer Pachas Mishnayim. Everybody holds that there's no Irer less than 2. So it can't be that that's the difference between the 2 shitas. Ella, now the Gemara again also goes through this complicated scenario. Ella, it's not complicated. It's just it's intricate. Ella, the muchzak lan ba'avua dahai the kohenu. It's muchzak that this guy is a kohen. But then a rumor went out to Ben Grusha ben Chalutzu, similar to previous Gemara. And then what happened is because of this rumor, so Beis Din knocked him down and said he's no longer a kohen, meaning they suspended him, they put him under investigation. How do you call it? The suspension, right? They put him on paid leave or something like that, right? So then, again, he was considered a kohen. Then there were rumors. They knocked him down. An eid echad came and said he's a kohen. Okay, so then on Amud Beis now vaskinu. So they put him back up to being a kohen. Then vasu beitrei, and then came 2 eidim. V'amri ben Grusha ben Chalutzu. He's a ben Grusha ben Chalutzu v'achsinu, and then they knocked him down. Then v'asa eid echad, and then came an eid echad. V'amri yadayna beit the kohen who. I know that he's a kohen. So now Beis Din already knocked him down twice, and then they're going to put him up again. The question is, should they put him back up, or is it going to look like a busha to the Beis Din? Like, what's with this Beis Din? Every day they're knocking the guy down, then they're putting him back up, then knocking him down. So So that's what the Gemara says. With the Kule Alma, everybody holds that you're going to combine. Meaning there were two Eidim here. There was an Eid Echad that said he's legit, and then there was another Eid Echad that said he was legit. Right? The question is, do we combine them to be two Eidim? Right? So he's saying, yes, everybody holds you're going to combine their Eidos, and therefore, really, we should make this guy back into a kohen for a third time. Where the shaila is, are we concerned for the cheapening of the Beis Din? Tanakama, since they knocked him down, we're not putting it back up. Why? Because we're chashid, and another aid is going to come, or two aid are going to come and knock him back down. So we're just going to leave him the way he is, and we're not going to trust the aid echad. No, we knocked him down, and we can also put him up. We're not worried about the zilusa of the Beis Din. Yeah, okay. So the Rashi, if that's the case, and we're worried about Beis Din looking bad, then even if two Eidim came, we're not going to listen to them. We're worried about Beis Din looking foolish. They say he's a kohen, then a guy comes in and says he's not a kohen, so they knock him down. Then somebody else comes in and says he is a kohen, so they knock him down. Then two aids. So if it's a busha, so then what's the difference if it's only one aid? Even if it's two aid, we're not gonna put him back. Say Elam Ravashi, he says no, it's a different machlokes. Mitzdarfen le'edus kamiflagi. They're having a machlokes is whether you could combine the one aid and the other aid. Again, the scenario was where he was a kohen, then there was a rumor that he was not, that he's a ben grush ben chalutza. One aid came and said he was good, and then they put him back up. Then two aidim came and said he's not good. And then one aid said he's good. So the question is, do we take those two aidim, meaning each single aid, and combine the two? Right? We plugged the Hani Tanai, and it's going with the machlokes of these Tanaim. The Tanya, we don't combine aidis until both of them see the same thing. So Rashi has an interesting mashal here, meaning they have to both see the exact same thing. Meaning if they're saying testimony on a loan, so Rashi says, if one aid says, I saw him borrow the money, and the other one says he agreed, he admitted that there's a loan, those are not the same aidus. Meaning they're both saying the same thing, that this guy borrowed money, but they both didn't see the same thing. So that's the machlokes here. And it doesn't matter about Yerushalayim Kechad. Rabbi Shimon says no, even one after the other. So that's the machlokes between these two shittas. And then the Gemara says a different machlokes that has nothing to do with this. It says the edus is not miskayim and Beis Din until they both say the edus at the exact same time, meaning they have to come to Beis Din and say the edus at the same time. You can listen to one aid today, when his friend comes the next day, will listen to him. Right? Meaning, so the same machlokes in the Mishnah is going to be this machlokes too. And we have two options for what the machlokes in the Mishnah. Either the one that we just said now, which is do the eidim, the two aid echads, when we're combining them, do they have to say it at the same time, or can they come on different days? Or the machlokes is do we say that they have to say the same exact part of the edus or not? Meaning, do they have to both see the exact same thing, even though they didn't see it together? They saw it at the same time, they just weren't together. So those are the two ways to understand the difference in the Machlokes, Gamliel and R Eliezer in the Mishnah.
You could read the first aid's testimony in the newspaper, and then he could say the same thing tomorrow.
That's true. But he's going to have to be interrogated, no?
I don't know.
They have to know when the first guy comes that the second guy's coming tomorrow?
It doesn't sound like it.
Because the first guy comes in, you're one aid. We're not listening to what you're saying. We throw you out. You're only one aid. Then the next day, the next guy comes in. Maybe we should have listened to that guy yesterday.
No, Mustama, I don't know. We have to see in Makkas and in Sanhedrin, but it seems to be that you have to say that they take his testimony into consideration, but they don't do anything. Right? I think that's what you have to say, no?
I guess so, but how many times does one guy come and you don't get the second guy? So you're wasting the Beis Din's time?
No, because there's certain things that you do believe with Eid Echad. It wouldn't be in this, but like there are certain things that in Eid Echad we're by Yisurim, and for people that are kidnapped and all that. So maybe. Okay. Next Mishnah, continuing the same theme. So Zok the Mishnah, Isha shenech b'shah b'dei oivdei kechavim. So a woman that got kidnapped. If the reason why they kidnapped her was for money, for money purposes, mutaras labayla, she's mutter to her husband. They nefashas, but if the reason why they kidnapped her was to kill her, meaning she was chayiv misa, again, lefi the goyim, not lefi the yidden, then asura labayla, then she is also to her husband. Yeah. So again, it depends why. We're worried. Taisa says we're worried. Meaning, if it's a Yisrael, so she's raped. So why can't she go back to her husband? Right? We know that if she's married to a kohen, okay, then a kohen, if the wife is raped, they can't go back to the husband. But here's a Yisrael. So Taisa says we're afraid that she did it willingly because she was trying to save her life. So since she was trying to save her life and she did it willingly, then that's called that's called willingly, and she'd be also to her husband, which is not a simple thing to understand, because do we really call that ratzon? Right? Is that called ratzon? She's trying to save her life. So okay, that's a shiloh, but clearly that's what Taisa says in the bottom Taisa. Fine. So Zog the Gemara. Amar Rav Shmuel Yitzchak Amar Rav. Lo yishanu ela sheyad yisrael tkifa alayv de kechavim. Right. We didn't say this din only when the Yidden were in power. They were in power over the goyim. But if meaning when they're stronger over themselves, meaning when they're stronger over the Yidden, even with money, asura lebayla. Right. Meaning, what's the reason why we're saying that if she's only kidnapped for financial purposes, that she is we're not choshed that they were mizana with her, because they know if they're going to be mizana with her, at least they're risking they're not going to get their money, right? But but we're saying now that if they're overruled by the goyim, meaning if the goyim are ruling over everybody, then even for money, since they're the ones in charge, they're going to assume that they'll be able to rape her and they'll be able to keep they'll be able to get their money too. All right, so that's what we're saying. This is only when the Yidden are in charge. But when the goyim are in charge, any sort of kidnapping, automatically you're going to assume that she's us. So the Gemara asks a long kasha now. So most of Rav asked the kasha, hey, Rabbi Yossi HaKohen, Rabbi Zechariah ben Akatzav, they said Eidus, Al Bas Yisrael Shehurhanu Ba'ashkelon. So now Hurhanu is an interesting thing. Hurhanu, Rashi says they gave her as a mashkin. I'm not exactly sure what they're thinking by doing this, but basically they borrowed money and they gave a Yiddish woman as the collateral. Right? That's the right word? I think so, right? They gave it as collateral. They said, if we don't pay you back, you get to keep this woman. Yeah. Because you hear me? Can we hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
Okay, I'm just making sure because I think the Bluetooth will go. Yeah, Verechkua b'nei mishpacha, and her b'nei mishpacha, she was married to Kaihanim. So her mishpacha stayed away from her because they were choshed that she was mizana or ma'anis. And the Eidim said Eidus, though that she was not nistara, she wasn't alone with the goyim, and she never became tamei, she was never raped. And the Chachamim said to them, to the family now, meaning they had Eidim that nothing happened to her, but the family was still staying away. So the Chacham said to them, if you believe that she was given as a mashkin, Hurhanu means as a collateral, then you should believe
the testimony that she wasn't Nisra no Livdov. And if you don't believe them that nothing happened to her, then I'll tell me to Shorano. Then I don't believe that they gave her as collateral either. Meaning, how do you know that this all happened? So okay, so what does that have to do with our Gemara? But Ashkelon, the Yad Avdik Chacham Tkifan al Atman, Ashkelon was under non-Jewish controls, under Goyish control. Right? It was in Eretz Plishtim, Rashi says. Right? Fikatani, and what are we learning? On to Amud Aleph now. Fikatani, Kurhanu in Nech B'Shalai. It's only when is it? When do we need Eidim to say that she wasn't slept with? That's if she was given as a mashkan. But Nech B'Shalai. But if she was Nech B'Shalai means if she was actually kidnapped. If she was kidnapped, then not. Right? So my answer is no. Who I did afilu Nech B'Shalai? No, it means even if she was kidnapped, there are Eidim that say that she wasn't taken, then it's no problem. It just happened to be that they gave her as a mashkan, but it doesn't make a difference. It doesn't make a difference in halacha, right? Meaning whenever the goyim are in control, you're going to need Eidim regardless. Now let's just go to the Mishnah. First of all, we got to go a little bit ahead because we have the Tisha B'Av.
Hello?
Once you say we're going ahead, we get stopped.
Oh,
What?
okay, he's good.
Okay, so you get the Amri.
All right, one second. Are Eidim in this case men?
So it's debatable exactly who the Eidim are here, right? Because l'chayr, if it's real good Eidim, then what's the shaila?
Because we have Yishivchas, we have all sorts of people, aren't they coming up? So
Yeah, so we're going to see that in the next Mishnah. Who's
All right.
believed, who's not. But the
Okay.
pashtus is that, yes, that's good. I should have pointed that out, Doctor. The pashtus is here. We're not talking about your standard Eidim. We're talking about some of the Eidim from the next Mishnah who are believed because of this.
circumstance.
Keep on going, Doc.
I screwed it up.
Keep on going. Keep on finishing up the doc.
Now, we're bringing it as a proof, right? So, hey, Reb Yossi, a kohen, Reb Zechariah ben Akasav al Bas Yisrael Shurano ba'Ashkelon, right? This Bas Yisrael that was given as collateral in Ashkelon, v'rechiku b'nei mishpachta, and her family distanced themselves. Rabbi Dem Eden Aleh Shalei Nisra v'Shalei Nitma, and the Eidim said Eidus on her that she did not become Tameh. V'amar Chachamim Imatem Aminim Shurano Haminu Shalei Nisra v'Shalei Nitma. If you believe that she was not collateral, then believe her that she wasn't mezana or raped. Yeah. So then the Gemara says, "Va'ashkelon Dal Yidei Mammon who have somebody has to mute, I think, or is it me?"
No, somebody's talking.
He's saying Shema.
All right.
So you say, why don't you say Kol Nidre also? Who cares? He's saying Shema. Why can't you saying Shema?
All right, don't get me nervous already. We didn't bench Elul, please.
Ashkelon, no.
Getting very close. It's getting very close.
Va'ashkelon Dal Yidei. Right? We say, "Lo,
Yaakov, you keep breaking up. Yaakov, you broke up for the last 2 minutes.
I did.
Yeah.
Is it the Bluetooth?
Nobody heard what you said the last minute and a half for sure.
Yeah, you got to go to
Yeah.
Ika Damri. I'm a Rava.
Are you serious?
Ashkelon, I'm up to.
Okay, is that better now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, let me know if okay, again, Igadamri, backing it up, Igadamri, Omarova, Afana Nami Tinina, Yeah, am I still good?
Yes.
Okay, because the faces are frozen. Instead of it being a kasha, it's being as a riot. Hey, Rabbi Yossi HaKohen, Rabbi Zchari ben Akatzav al Bas Yisrael, Shehurhanu ba'Ashkelon, that she was used as collateral in Ashkelon, V'richnu b'nei mishpachta, and her b'nei mishpacha distances of her, v'edeh me'idin aleh shalei nistra v'shalei nitma. And the Eidim said Eidos that she was not defiled, as we call it. Baruch Chachamim, im atem ma'aminim. We good? You still hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. I'm sorry. If they believe you, that if you believe them that she was used as collateral, then believe that she wasn't, they weren't mazana with her. If you don't believe them, they don't even believe that she was taken as collateral. So either believe them or don't believe them. I mean, if you don't believe in either way, she should be okay.
Migo?
Yeah. So it says, Ashkelon Ashkelon was a financial thing. The time of Adam the reason is because Adam said Eidos on her. But if the Adam wouldn't have said Eidos, she would be Aser. My love, it makes no difference whether she was used as collateral or she was really kidnapped. It doesn't make a difference. When they're under Avodah control, then we're going to assume that she's Aser. So we say, no, Hurhana Shani. If she was used as collateral, it's different. Right? Because meaning when she's taken by force, then it's going to be worse than if she's not. Yeah. So that's what the Gemara is thinking now. Then the Gemara says a third shot, not a third shot, but a third way of learning this. There are those that actually ask this as a stira. Tanan, it says al yedei mammon metaris labayla. With money, am I still good?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
No.
Sorry if I keep asking. Yeah. So he can Rami Lamirma.
No.
Some ask it as a stira. Tanana hidei mammon mutaras labayla. If she was kidnapped from financial reasons, she's mutter to her husband, like we said, because we're not afraid that they're gonna sleep with her, because then they're not gonna get their money. But a minute, I'll ask you a stira. Hey, Rabbi Yossi said Eidos, that whole story. For Ashkelon hidei mammon, Ashkelon was through money for Katani. Time of the Eidim. So the reason why she's mutter is because there were witnesses that she did not get defiled. But if there's no Eidim, lie. Right? So you see that, and it was for money. So, and you see that we consider her that she's also Umashana. We answer, Amar Shubar and Yitzchak, like Kasha, Kanchiyad, he saw Tkifa al Avdikachavim, Kanchiyad Avdikachavim, Tkifa al Atzman. The difference is, in one case, it was Klal Yisrael, we were in charge, so therefore we assume that she's going to be okay. And the other one is Kanchiyad Avdikachavim, Tkifa al Atzman. That's when the Goyim are in control, then we're not going to believe her. Right? Not believe her, but we're going to assume she was Mizan. Fine. Then we said, Al Yidei Nefashas Asura. So the Mishnah said that through the Nefashas, if the reason why they took her is because in the Goyish law, she's Chayiv Misa, then for sure she's Asur, because we're going to assume they just sleep with her, because they're going to kill her anyways. Amar Rav. So what exactly does it mean she's Chayiv Misa? Goyim Noshe Ganbe, the wives of Ganovim. So the way the Goyim did it was that if they caught a Ganav, they'd kill the Ganav, and they get to keep his wife. So therefore, they're chayshid that she's Mazan. Levi Omar, going Ishtesha ben Dunai, it's like the wife of Ben Dunai. Right? So he was what do you call it? He was what do you call those guys? A liston, whatever. He was a murderer.
He's a murderer. Right?
He's a murderer. So therefore, since he was a murderer, how does it go? So what if he was a murderer?
Then they're mafka the wife.
They took his wife.
Mom and then out.
No, but saying it's only that guy. That's what we're saying. It's only that guy.
Yeah.
But
No,
if
any Ritzayach.
What?
Any Ritzayach.
Meaning
Kill the Ritzayach and mafka the wife.
Meaning only right, but it's not for Geneva. The nafkamina is that
Right,
the
right,
first
right.
shot is only Geneva, and the second shot is only for
killing.
murder. Right?
Yeah.
Amar Chizkiya, but that has to have a Gemar din that they're killed, that they have to be killed. Because otherwise, maybe they'll escape. Not escape, but they'll get out of it. Even if there's no nigmar din, once they were indicted, I guess, then we're afraid that they're going to go be mafka their wives. Right? Yeah.
Is this last Gemara just because the Mishnah says Asura Labaila? If they already killed him, what are we saying Asura Labaila? Frozen. Perfect timing. Where's Paris?
Gershon, your mazel, baby.
Yeah, Gershon, that's typical Gershon, waiting till the end, and now that's over. No more questions.
You want him to wait to the end?
Gershon,
You want-
you know
you
that
want-
Gershon-
No,
Gershon-
when the daf is over, he suddenly has no more questions. It's only Siakam can say the daf is up. No, hold on. Let me get a question.
Parrots, you know that
Press
guy
one.
Yeshiva? You know that
Special
guy
for the
Yeshiva
9
asked
days,
the bomb
Gershon.
Kasha. The Rebbe already went over by 15 minutes. You have to ask the bomb Kasha an extended shear for an extra 25 minutes. Starving,
me?
couldn't go
That's
down
Colombo.
to lunch. That's Gershon.
No.
Right. Okay.
He has to
Gershon,
pull out
that's us. That's us being nice during the 9 days. There have been other descriptions of you. Take this slow.
Oh, I'm the one who's not allowed in that chat.
All right, I think we're done.
Yeah, I think he's gone too.
He's still on. It's weird.
He's not. Oh, there he is.
Yeah.
Oh,
He
I'm
is.
muted. Then it got muted.
Ah,
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I have no idea how I confused you with Gershon. I'm sorry for muting you.
Oh, that's what happened? Yeah, so what are you signing?
no, I was saying the end of this
You wanted to
Gemara
know,
said,
Tiago, Wednesday night we make a siyum on the parak. Are we allowed to?
Ooh, Parrots, you're saying good, Parrots.
Yeah. I looked ahead.
Ooh.
What are you saying, Parrot?
What is the rough time about that?
What is that? I didn't hear what he
we
said.
finished the parak. Are we allowed to eat? Wednesday night we finished the parak. Are we allowed to eat?
No, you can't meet for a parak.
You gotta find a new rabbi. Parrots, we gotta find a new rabbi, maybe.
That's it. Switching over to the guy from the army. What's the guy's name? Not Steinzel. What's the guy's name?
Who?
No, Zoltan's buddy. Stefanski. I'm switching to Stefanski now.
Stefanski. He makes a shame when he finishes Ashrei.
All right.
All right.
Anyways, you hear me or am I still schwach?
yeah, we hear you.
All right, fine. I'm going to
Chicago.
speech. Gesagt.
Good night.